Sorry, my video cut off for some reason. Anyways, as I was saying, she kind of has two parts to her. The one that is her and the one that I've named Shadow. I'll go more into depth later with that whenever I do an overview with the, entire Runaway series, but that's for a later time. Anyways, that's later and the shadows and all of that. Oh, here's another one. I had a time where I drew like a lot of shadow artwork because I like drawing monsters and they were kind of fun. Anyways, here's a really, well, not really old, but this is a pretty old OC of mine. You may have seen them if you watched any of my older videos. I did a little work in progress animation that I never finished with him and another character. And this is one of the sketch drawings for the other drawing I did of him. But his character isn't he doesn't have a whole lot of detail in it yet. But basically what happens is something happens to his parents. I'll change it up. Either they abandon him or they're just missing or whatever. It's not really important because his parents are important. Basically, the only thing that is important about it is he kind of grew up in an orphanage, basically. Now, he was extremely gifted, very intelligent, very smart. He studied bioengineering and zoology, a lot of animal kind of related things with genes and stuff like that. Now, he was, however, a psychopath, and if I get this correct, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that means they just don't have empathy, or very little empathy. Basically meaning he doesn't really care that much about people, kinda. I might be wrong about that, but with him, he basically starts his own kind of illegal experimentations on humans, turning them into monstrous creatures and stuff like that. No powers or anything like that, but he's just really smart. He wears glasses and a mask most of the time, and his design needs some work. And like I said, this is like a 2019 sketch. It's not my best work, guys. But yeah, he was a bad guy. His story isn't completely worked out, and he's an older character that I haven't thought much of recently, but he has potential, so I might try working on him again sometime. Um, this is one of my favorite characters. I've drawn him recently, I already said, but we have Damien the Demon, another one of my demon characters, and besides Tobias, he's actually one of my favorite demon characters. I've had a few before, but I never really cared much for them, but this guy, however, he's been my favorite. Unlike a lot of my OCs, he's actually a kid, ranging from 10 to 12. Pretty sure he's like 11 or 12, but yeah, he's just a kid. Um, he is only half a demon, however, and I'm working on his story. I don't have it all out right now, but I'm pretty sure his mother was a human and his father was a demon, and somehow he ended up spending his life in the underworld. Um, Besides being a demon, he actually doesn't have powers. He's basically a human, just with slightly pointed ears and a tail. He can't really do much, but he's very good at knife wielding. He has his own little bone tooth that he uses. He chooses to wear this skull. He likes collecting bones a lot. In the underworld, he would slay the monsters and demons, and he would collect the bones and stuff because, why not? Um, Despite acting all tough and seeming kind of mean and rude at times, he's actually a bit of a softie, and he can open up after a while. His entire thing is what he ends up escaping the underworld somehow and comes to Earth, where he finds people, which are the other characters that I don't own, my friends do, and ends up kind of living with them and learning about like what it actually means to like have a family and do things like that. He's never like known any of that. He's very defensive and kind of scared because he's in like this entire new environment. But over time, he opens up to them. Now, this I haven't completely figured out yet, but I think when he's angered enough or something like that, he can become really powerful and actually have powers. But when he's like that, he doesn't have much sense and can do things that, would be very destructive and hurt the people he cares about. But overall, he's a pretty good guy, and I'll have to work more on him later. He's another old character of mine that I haven't talked much about, but this is Frostbite. He's also one of my favorite characters, despite not being used that much. These are some other old sketches of him. And just a reminder, all these characters don't exist in the same story or world. They all have their own universes with their own set of characters, their own set of rules. Like in Jace's universe, there's no magic and stuff like that. It's just normal people. And in this one doesn't even revolve around people. It revolves around animals. Frost, however, isn't like, well, he is an animal, but I consider him just like a monster. Um, and his name is Frostbite, Frost for short. And he's a great example of a gentle giant. His species is snow monsters, and they live high up in mountains and snow, and look almost kind of made of snow in a way. The body kind of is. They eat snow and ice. They're very peaceful. They're very large. Um, and most of them have pretty poor eyesight, not just because, the hair covers the eyes, but it's just a genetic thing. Most of the females end up losing their eyesight over time, and he isn't a girl, but he will eventually, probably become blind someday because it's just that. His eyes are almost always covered up unless I'm trying to show emotion or surprise. He has very big, beautiful blue eyes like that. Um, he's really big, but he's very gentle and very nice. They dig in the snow and make little ice things, and they're really great. Um, his backstory though is kind of sad. I mean, we always kind of give our characters sad backstories though. He had a village in the mountains that he lived in with his family, and one day though, the humans, they, were scared of the monsters, didn't like them, and they came in and burned it all down, melting the monsters, slaying them. And he, however, was able to escape. And when he came back, his place was in ruins. Everything was burned down and gone, and his mother was gone. He saw her melt. And for them, they kind of have this belief that when they die, they turn into like plants and stuff, or they become stars, or even the best ones become mountains someday. And where his mother was slain grew a little flower. And so he's, of course, sad from that. That's kind of what that is, though. And we don't have a full-on story for him, but that's just his backstory, I guess. He's really sweet. He's really kind. Um, not super shy or anything, but yeah, he's a good boy. Sorry for how long these videos are. I only have 2 characters left. Let's go to another one of my very recent ones, Kyra. I don't have too much drawn of her yet, because it's kind of hard for me to draw realistic people, but honestly, I think she's also one of my favorite characters I've made so far. I kind of drew her just from a random sketch that I draw sometimes. I like to just draw shadowy, dark creatures and monsters, and I wanted to make this character. I've wanted to make them for a while, but somebody who just, like, eats and consumes, like, everything. And then I made Kyra. She's just a regular person. In the world she exists in, magic doesn't exist either. It's just regular people. And she's pretty chill. The only issue is she's cursed. Since she was a child, she's been cursed with this eternal hunger, making her hungry all the time. And in the beginning, it was okay, just, like cravings. She would just eat a lot of food and then she'd be fine. But over time, food just wasn't enough, and she was just starving the entire time. The only time it went away is when she got a taste of human blood. And then from there, things just kind of went downhill. Now, I want to state out that Kyra is not a bad guy. She's never enjoyed killing, and she never will. She doesn't like doing any of that. It just kind of happens because she's just so hungry. Um, the first time she killed somebody was her brother. She ate them in the forest, and that'll all be later on that you get to see out. But yeah, so she turns into this monster and she eats things and stuff like that. That's basically her entire thing. She's actually really chill and nice to hang out with though. She's caring about her friends, she's playful, but she can be serious when she needs to be. And she would always put her friends and family first, do anything for them to help them out. And the last character I want to go over is another really recent one of mine, Raven. Here's one with my friend's character, Herb, and here's a recent drawing of him that I made. To check out Sketch Butter's channel, and you can see her drawings and stuff about like the environment they live in. But basically, in this story, it takes place in the forest with these creatures again. Even though he kind of looks human, Raven is this death spirit, and he lives in this forest, and basically his species just goes around and helps population control. They The others usually use staffs that when they touch the creature, they just kind of instantly die. It's painless, and that's that. They make sure invasive species are kept in check, that the population is kept low because, they don't want things to overpopulate. That's their entire thing. Um but the issue with their system is that it's all ruled by one person, which is his father, and they rely a lot, well, they don't rely, but they focus a lot on point value. The more they kill, the more points they get. The bigger they are, the more points they get, and everybody's obsessed with like making the ranks go higher, making the points go higher. And Raven just doesn't see the point of it. He only just wants to help the forest by keeping things low. But he hates the obsession with all the points, and he doesn't really want to do his job anymore, really. His father puts a lot of pressure on him. He wants him to be the best because he expects him to be the best. They have arranged marriages and stuff like that to make people, just they don't it's very structured, and there's not a lot of freedom with them. But everybody else doesn't seem to really mind it because they enjoy it. He ends up meeting, however, my friend's character, Herb, who is the complete opposite. They bring things to life, they heal things, they make the forest abundant and stuff. And their two species are enemies, but they end up meeting and they end up becoming friends somehow. And they have to be able to keep it a secret because both their species, would flip out and be mad about it. And for him, if they were to commit such a crime as befriending a fairy like Herb, he would be de-winged. He has wings, you can't see it because of his cloak, but without his wings, he won't be able to use his magic, he can't transform, and he'd probably end up dying. So, that'd be really bad. And that's it, I guess. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm sorry these videos were so long, but those are most of the characters I just kind of wanted to go over that actually have a story kind of going on. So now you get to understand them a bit more. I plan to, whenever I do end up getting into animation someday, to get to animate scenes from these stories and clips and stuff like that, and it will be really cool. Anyways, that's all. Bye.